All right. So scheduling information, I'm actually going to need to pull up this. Couldn't get it printed off because I was here when it came out. All right. So we're going to go over scheduling information for this week. And as I mentioned, um, before I get in, I'll get into some of the terms and all that here in a second. But don't forget that this is a carryover still from October's allocations. So keep that in mind. So here's some of the terminology we want to kind of review that we might bring up here. Some of these words and what these things mean. The order bank is where the orders are placed by dealers, stock as well as retail orders. And a retail order is a customer placed order, typically a sold order in a sense, whereas stock orders are placed by the dealer for stock or for lot inventory. Priority codes are priorities given to an order based on the order type and or the priority that you want. So retail orders are usually 03 to 19. Dealers can change on those if they have a good loyal customer that buys a ton of vehicles. That's their prerogative. They want to give them an 03. Or the other ones, they can just put them all. We put all ours in. It's 10 no matter what, but you'll see stock ones are 20 to 80. So retails are always going to be looked at before a stock because the lower the better. It's like golf. So there you go. Scheduling, that's when Ford schedules an order for production date in future months. And that's what we're going to talk about here is model lines that are scheduling and for what build dates or production dates we might be looking for that to be scheduled. So if you have an order in. Production date is the date when the vehicle is planned to be built. Those dates can move around. Once it gets scheduled, it's scheduled so far in advance that sometimes things happen. They've got to situate things to make it work for the production. So you might see your dates move. That's very typical. Nothing wrong there. Allocations. Ford gives dealers allocations to schedule their orders. Dealer needs an allocation to schedule an order in the order bank. So we talk about this week that somebody model might schedule if a dealer has an allocation for that model. Like for us, Mavericks might be scheduling, but we have 0 Maverick allocations, so none of ours will get scheduled. So, and then dealer earns allocations from their sales of each model within their region and such. So that's how those are figured out. Constraints, those are options that are maybe in short supply or may take longer to build because that reason the capacity is lower, which is capacity, the planned production rate of a given motor, trim, option, something like that. Job 1 and 2 is production run for a model year is usually split into a couple different jobs, job 1 and job 2. We'll talk about Mustang is actually just starting job 2, or it's just balanced out job 1, which the next phrase balance out is the end of production or balance out for something that's needs produced like an option model or job 1 or job 2 balance out. So there you go. It's all the terminologies there. All right. So let me pull this up. Excuse me. All right. Starting with 24 Mustang, no scheduling this week. 24 model year job 1 has balanced out. And some people might have said, well, if I still have an order in there, does that mean I won't get scheduled? No, you'll be a job 2. And typically there's not a lot of differences between job 1 and job 2. There actually, I don't think there's been a price increase or anything. And I have seen new order guide for that, but I haven't had a chance to look and see if there's anything different for this, for that production for the job 2. That's just usually just kind of carries over and keeps scheduling. So you don't have to worry about that if you have an unscheduled order in there. Dealers with, it does say BTS Mustang Dark Horse allocation must place an eligible order without the Dark Horse package or allocation may be lost. And I think they actually mean a handling package. They didn't add that word in there. Indoor and allocation fulfillment order may be generated. So basically they're saying if you earned a Dark Horse allocation, for you to fulfill that allocation, you must, they're right now not doing the handling package, you must take that off to get it scheduled, or you will lose that Dark Horse allocation, which you don't want to take a chance in doing. All right. Let's see here. I do have to use 2 different sheets for this. So on Mustang, it looks like there's currently 1,126 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank right now. So not too many there. and it looks like about 51% of those are GT Performance Package. So those take up almost over 500, almost 600 of those orders. Let's see, nothing else. Black painted roof is 42%, which is pretty high. You might, think about that. That's included in the Night Pony package. So, all right, Escape. Moving on. And order banks are open up for the 24 model year Mustang too, by the way. 24 Escape. It is, we have, since I already have the sheet up, we have 823 unscheduled retail orders. Not too many there. I believe order bank is opened up for that. Let me go back over. I got to go back from sheet to sheet here. All right. They are not, Escape is not scheduled this week. And yes, the order bank is open up for the Escape. Remember, base is not available. And I believe active is retail only orders. So that's it on Escape. No constraints or anything. 24 model year Bronco Sport is not scheduled this week. Order banks are open up. Note, it's not showing constraints because there's not any scheduling. And currently there is only 259 unscheduled orders. So not too many right there. So that's pretty safe that you could put in an order for about any configuration and you probably get scheduled on a Bronco Sport pretty quickly. So no problems there whatsoever. So go for it, right? If you're wanting a Bronco Sport, don't feel like you have to take one off the dealer lot. You want a 24, you can do that. Oh, I have a video on the Black Diamond off-road package, by the way, the Bronco Sport that hopefully we can get going live by the end of the week. 24 model year Edge. It is scheduling. They're scheduling for January production dates. So the weeks of actually December and January. It does say January in here, so maybe primarily those production weeks in January through the week of January 29th. Edge ST is balanced out. Edge ST is done forever. So, and I believe the order banks are closed now on 24 model year Edge. So hopefully you got your order in there. Let's actually see how they're doing on Edge. They have 1,531 unscheduled retail orders. Not too many there. Yeah, they do have 9% of those orders are the 2.7 liter engine, which is the ST. And since it's balanced out, 0% capacity. So those will not get scheduled. So whatever 9% of probably about 150 of those orders won't get built. So that's kind of how that would work. So there you go. All right, moving on. 24 model year Ranger. No scheduling this week. Scheduling will resume on 12/14. So they're not going to schedule for a while because they already have all those orders that were waiting to be built before they went on the strike. So they have, orders kind of already, probably moved to December and probably November and December build dates, maybe even January. So for that reason, they're not going to be scheduling until December's allocations. So dealers probably get 0 allocations this month. And then the order banks are open up for the 24 model year Ranger, including the Ranger Raptor. Currently, unscheduled orders. Let's see what that's sitting at. Got to scroll down a little bit because they get this out of order. All right. Give me a second.
Gotta say, are you having trouble reading without your glasses?
No. It's pretty big on here, but the screen is kind of small. So I'm using
Well,
the big.
my joke is that your glasses are sitting right here.
I got another pair.
Okay.
So 24 model year Ranger unscheduled orders is 3,703. So, but they can take orders, and that shouldn't take them long to get most of those fulfilled there. All right. Moving on, 23 model year Bronco, same factory here. MAP restarted production on 11/2, and schedule will resume this week. So they let's keep reading though, because I don't know how many are going to get scheduled. It said any scheduled order cancellations due to plant stoppage and our current capacity will be communicated as soon as possible. So there's probably communication coming out soon about any canceled orders. 23 model year Bronco is planned to balance out on December 22nd. Again, don't forget Shadow Black paint. Raptor, Heritage Limited are balanced out for 23 model year. And then also the two-door Heritage and Heritage Limited are not yet available for 24 model year. An important note in here says scheduled 23 model year Bronco Heritage and Bronco Heritage Limited editions for two-door orders were canceled due to supplier issues and balance out timing. Further information will be communicated as soon as possible. And you can't place an order. So some of you, if you got scheduled for 23, you might have got your order canceled. We'll get communication on whose those were. Dealers will. So you want to, once that comes out, I'll let you guys know so you can communicate with your dealers, because you'll just need to make sure that at this point you can't place a new 24 order yet, because that's not available either. So you're just going to have to hold out until that does, or place a four-door Heritage Edition. So sim order. Okay. Yeah. Anyway. And then order banks are open up for 24 model year, except for Heritage Limited two-door. So, and I always say Heritage Limited, but to be honest, most of those are whatever they want to build for the dealer. So, and then any constraints, I'm going to look at this and see. I don't know, again, since it doesn't show a model year, I think it's for all Broncos, both model years. Currently 9,117 orders in the order bank. It's got to be just the 23 model year, because that number hasn't really moved lately. So in the last couple of weeks, currently 16,000 of those orders out of the 9,000 are Heritage editions, with a capacity of 3%, but that's 3% for the entire year. So really about most of the models are within constraint. You shouldn't have any issues, especially, once they get to scheduling, start scheduling 24s, then you should be fine. Yeah, so it's pretty good. The only thing, Sasquatch is 40% and Lux Package is 40% for the capacity, but they're real close to that in the orders. So I would, you should be good at ordering about anything on a Bronco. Everglades is a lower percentage as well for 24 model year. So if you did place an Everglades, that's getting produced at a very small number, 2.5%, I think, something like that. So you might just, if you have an Everglades order, and just be willing to wait. That's all I can say. But they haven't started scheduling 24 yet. And if you have a 23 model year Bronco and it's still unscheduled, you need to place a 24. Except for those Heritage Edition two doors, of course. All right. So yeah, just go ahead and put those in. Those 23s will just get canceled. They just won't get built. So Ford doesn't carry orders over from one model year to the next. The dealer has to place a new order. That happens on all models. Had to do that for 24 Maverick, for Super Duties, everything else, no different there. 24 model year Maverick, cleanup scheduling this week, which again means if a dealer has an allocation, they're going to try to fulfill that allocation if they can. So they really want to try to. They're scheduling for build dates in December, so the weeks through December 25th. It does say exhausted availability is on the hybrid transmission, but they will schedule some hybrids probably. It's just exhausted means it's, they're running out of those transmissions for right now for this production run that they're scheduling for. Carbonized gray painted alloy wheel, which is a standard on the XLT, is a struggle there. Splash guards as well is exhausted. So if you have, if you're looking at an EcoBoost Lariat, you're looking pretty good. About probably any EcoBoost other than XLT. So anyway, let's look at unscheduled orders. Let's see, where's that? Where am I at, Bronco? So my commodity report and my schedule report are on, they're not not the same. So, all right. So unscheduled orders for Maverick, we have 36,771 unscheduled orders. So there you go. And then, yeah, we do know that, XL is a little over constraint. 46% of those are XL. But again, it's just going to take longer for XLs to get scheduled, but they are within capacity for the year. So I know that shows 23. People look at this report, and I have to explain it every time. 23% is their capacity. That's for a year. So when you look at it that way, you got to look at it that we still have several months of production yet. and 46% of the 36,000 unscheduled orders are XL. So not necessarily mean just because that number is bigger doesn't mean that they can't build them. It just will take longer. It just means they can't schedule them all in 1 month, right? That's all that means. And then XLT is well within that number, and so is the Lariat trim and the luxury packages. So there you go. As well as the trimmer. There's only 1% of the orders in the order bank are trimmer right now. So if you wanted a trimmer, you can get scheduled in about any trim. Well, I guess you can't get on XL, but you can get scheduled in about either XLT or Lariat pretty quickly if you have the trimmer. And you probably could even slide in bed covers at that point. I know I told you not to put those on there, but since they've got to schedule trimmers, they will schedule trimmers. If you had a trimmer with like those other items, they're more likely to give you that item because they need to get the trimmer scheduled than to give that bed cover or whatever to another order. So that's something to keep in mind as well. So let's see here. Moving on. No other notes there. 20 is showing 23 and 24 model year Explorer. So the order banks are open up for those. Also, it says 23 model year update. The plant restarted production 11/2. And then it says 23 model year Explorer is planned to balance out December 22nd. Scheduling for 23 model year is complete. So if you have a 23 unscheduled, place the 24 because you're not going to get the 23 if it's not already scheduled. It says we do not anticipate moving current build dates. Please refer to the window for any updates. That's a message for dealers. We had orders scheduled through the week of 11/27. Therefore, reprogramming will resume from that date. Or it says programming will resume from that date. However, any scheduled order cancellations due to the plant stoppages and our current capacity will be communicated as soon as possible. So that's another model that we're going to be waiting on to see if any orders get canceled. In fact, I think we had some stock ones get canceled already on Explorer. So they will always cancel stocks before touching any retails. So see, please note, scheduled stock orders with a December build date have the highest probability of cancellation. So makes sense, right? 24 model year update. We're currently wholesaling 24 model year Explorer volumes for January and February startup production. We will start scheduling 24 model year orders on 11/30. So that's when they'll start scheduling them. So there you go. And it does say no scheduling this week. Order banks are open up for the 24 model year. Don't forget, King Ranch, Timberline are going away after this year. Or not going away for good, but they will not be available 25 model years. So if you're wanting those, you might want to order those. And let's see how many unscheduled orders we have of that. And I assume this number is for 20. It's probably actually for 23 still. We probably don't know a good number yet. It says 246, but I think that's 23 model year. So let's see here. Next is 24 model year Expedition. Kentucky Truck Plant restarted production on 11/2 as well, and scheduling will resume 11/30. Platinum will require the optional 22-inch wheel. Platinum will require the multi-contoured seat removal option, so it will not have it to be scheduled for production. And the limited 302A will require sandstone trim. Order banks are open up for 24 model year Expedition currently, so you can place those orders. And there's only about 1,243 unscheduled orders. 45% of those are platinum with the standard wheel. So those people need to get that. They need to add the optional wheel. So those 45%, I feel bad for them because their dealer's not paying attention, and they need to order the optional wheel, or they won't get scheduled. So anyway, either that or just the customer's like, nope, I'll hold out. So in that case, they'll sit there. All right. 24 model year Super Duty. Order banks are open up. Sorry. Let's look at how many unscheduled are. Then I'll go through all the constraint list. Maverick, Ranger, F-150. Sorry. Super Duty. 26,778 unscheduled retail orders, so not too many. Really, when you think about it, they produce about 10,000 or something a month. That's not too bad. All right. So, Kentucky Truck Plant production started again or restarted on 11/2. It says schedule will resume this week. So they will schedule if you have open allocations, and so, since they haven't scheduled for several months or several weeks, that might happen for you. So, to maximize capacity, scheduled orders may be pushed out to January build dates. Please refer to WebDo for any updates. Again, they're trying to figure this all out, move everything around to get started back up. Scheduling production weeks at Kentucky Truck Plant will be 11/27 through the weeks of December 18th. 24 model year job 1 balance out will be on 12/22. Interesting. Scheduling production weeks at Ohio Truck Plant will be from 1/1 through 1/22. With 24 model year job 1 balance out will be 1/25. Again, those are different plants. Ohio usually builds your chassis cabs and such, and F600s and such. And then Kentucky usually builds your ones with beds on them. So typically. All right. Limited availability on the F350 and Lariat. Exhausted availability on King Ranch and Platinum. Limited availability for the 20-inch chrome wheel. The KBK frame, which is optional on the F350 two-wheel drive with diesel engines, and the 168-inch dually. These are all the same ones we've had the last several weeks. Dana axle with the heavy-duty rear, which is available on the F450, 550 dually with the 6.7 engine, and F600 chassis cabs with the 7.3 liter engine. The fifth wheel gooseneck hitch prep package, not available with the drop-in bed liner or the bed mat. That option is limited availability. The 179-inch wheelbase fuel tank, low sulfur, is also limited. The transfer case that's standard on the F600 4x4s with the 7.3 liter gas or the 6.7 diesel engine, and the 193-inch wheelbase or 205-inch wheelbase chassis cabs. I think they fixed that. Nope, it's down below. All right. Let's see what else. And also limited availability for the fifth wheel hitch kit. Is also that's also limited. Exhaust availability for the following items: 20-inch bright machine and matte black low gloss painted alloy. That I think is the Lariat Sport wheel. And then the tire that's on the dualies also is exhausted, it says, which is standard on your chassis cabs and F600s XL and XLT. The LK frame, I should just say what they are. The HBK frame, the GBK frame, and the SEK frame. So a lot of frames that are just exhausted and they're needing to get in. The 193-inch wheelbase, which is optional on the XL, XLT, F450, and 550, and 600 chassis cabs, and the 205-inch wheelbase, which is optional on the XL and XLT chassis. 4x4 front axles that are available on the F450, 550, 600 with the 4.3 or the 4.88 ratio regular rear axle is exhausted, as well as two-wheel drive Dana axle. That's optional on the F450, 550, 600 with the dually and 4x4 pickup or two-wheel drive chassis cabs. Whew, that's a word. Dana axle rear, that is optional on the F350, 450 dually pickup and the F600 dually with the 6.7 diesel engine. All right, low running frame PB also. And then also the 360-degree dual beacon LED strobe lights, the amber white, as well as just full amber, is exhausted, as well as heavy-duty alternator that's standard on the XL gas, and the Baja Tan interior. Whew, that's a lot. All right. Anyway, so there you go. I'm going to start comparing that to the week before and see if there's any difference. All right, moving on. 24 model year F-150. Order banks are open up right now. See how many unscheduled orders there are for that. Currently 4,384, so it's building up a little bit, but not more than what they can schedule in 1 week. So that's pretty good. Most everything's within constraints pretty easily. I mean, so you should be good to pretty much order whenever you want, unless you want a trimmer, of course. All right. Scheduling week, they are scheduled for the week of January 29th. 23 model year is balanced out. Should know that by now. 24 model year is January production for ICE. Raptor 802A and 803A will not be selected for scheduling for the next several weeks. Enter your Raptor orders as 801A or you will lose your Raptor allocation. So if you have Raptor allocation, make sure they're 801s. They are not going to schedule your order. You will lose the allocation. Well, they make it sound that way anyway, or it get carried over to next month. Anyway, 24 model year F-150 Lightning. I don't. We know the order banks are open up right now. We don't have any numbers on how many unscheduled. Scheduling for the week of January 29th, and 23 model year is balanced out. So there you go. So that 24 model year Mach-E is not scheduling. Order banks are open up for the Select and the Premium. The California Route 1 is gone, is not available for 24, and GT isn't available yet, and Rally isn't available yet. So we'll get more information as soon as we find that out as well. Do we have any number of how many here? Yeah, I'll just keep it on scrolling. All right, Mach-E's moved up here at the top. So there it is. 47 unscheduled orders for 23 model year. Doesn't show 24 yet, probably because we don't have enough information yet. All right. 24 model year Transit finishes out our vehicles. Order banks are open up right now. I will have to take me a little while to get down to how many unscheduled orders there are. Don't forget, if you have a 23 that went unscheduled, you need to place the 24 order because 23 has been balanced out. Currently 6,516 unscheduled transit orders. That I don't think that includes the e-transit. They are scheduling for the week of December 18th. This is cleanup scheduling. Again, a dealer needs an allocation. And exhaust availability for the 3.5 EcoBoost, the high roof extended passenger van, the high roof long passenger van, the low roof passenger van, the mid roof van cargo, and the medium roof passenger van bus, as well as all two-wheel drives. And well, that's about everything other than the transit trails. Also, the AM/FM with the 4-inch productivity screen as well. And limited availability for the 3.5 V6 Cyclone engine, the low roof van, transit trail package, and heavy-duty cargo flooring, as well as extended length running boards. So there you go. That is that.